Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, as well as the Jira amigos in the peanut gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Hey everyone, welcome to this very special edition episode of the Jira Life. My name is Alex, one of the hosts, and not with me, but in spirit is Rodney, the Jira guy, my co-host, and of course, King Bob, our producer. So this episode is very special because here in the United States, it's the 4th of July, but not only is it a holiday, but we're right at the midpoint for our season 2 of the Jira Life. So what we wanted to do today for this particular episode, we wanted to give you a highlight reel. We wanted to take you down memory lane and look at the last 6 months of the Jira Life. Season 2 has been an exciting season, and in case you missed some of the key and most memorable moments, then this episode is designed to walk you through all those really, really critical moments. Now, this episode is going to be broken up into a variety of different segments, and so let's review what we're going to be talking about today. Kicking things off, we're going to start with a little fun. As you know, Rodney the Jira guy and King Bob like to pick on me quite a bit. And over the last 6 months, I have made some discoveries, if you will, about things about life that I just didn't know. And so we're going to be giving you a couple of those highlights and remind you of those moments where I personally learned about some really interesting things about life. So we're going to go take a look at those. What would you
Apparently they would like to see a lot of Coyote and Roadrunner.
Wait, Roadrunners are real?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No. You're kidding me. Who's pulling my leg right now?
Dude,
they're not real.
Google
They're
now.
Not. They're not real.
Google.
Oh my gosh, they're real.
He literally...
Do they run fast like in the cartoon?
I mean, they're not as fast as the cartoon, but they aren't slow things.
Oh my gosh. Today I learned.
I think we just blew his mind.
Stop sharing my screen so I can get back to it. There you go. Marie, did you have that presentation that you wanted to...
Sure. Yeah, let me go off camera so I can adjust my screen here.
And I apologize for taking.
So yeah, we've talked about some of the stuff here, so it'll go a little bit quicker. So let me go to presenter mode.
Wait a minute, there's a presenter mode in this conference?
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
What?
You wet your toothbrush before or after you put toothpaste on it?
Before. I don't want that toothpaste coming off there. My kids do it afterwards. And let me tell you, this is a hill I die on when I go to my kids' bath sink. And it's like, what have you done here? There is more toothpaste in the bowl than there was ever in your mouth.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time then. I would put it after.
You're like, no wonder there's so much toothpaste in my sink.
That would explain a lot now that you brought that.
That's a lot.
Why
do you exist, Alex? Sorry. Why do you exist?
So, Mark, we have a running tally of the things that I learned on the Jira Life. I've learned that Roadrunners are real.
Beep, beep.
I did not know that. What was the other ones, Rodney? I have Bob keeps a list. So now I learned that toothpaste comes after you wet your
toothpaste comes after.
But I mean, single sign-on with Data Center, when that came out, they didn't buy resolution.
Why are we in your background?
I was wondering when you noticed that. I've been live streaming that for the entire time.
This is why your internet is so lackluster. You're using up all the bandwidth all the time. Blaming your internet companies. Oh, you, man. Unfortunately, this is for premium and enterprise only, which really saddens my heart because Atlassian is continuously dividing what you can do between the subscription tiers, and they are just really investing heavily on premium to the point where It's only going to make sense to have premium very, very soon. Up next, we all went to Team 24, and you know that if you were there at Team 24, that we were on the Team 24 floor, and we were just everywhere creating all types of content. So this next segment, we want to highlight the best of Team 24 and give you some of the most memorable moments that the Jira Life had this year. Let's take a look.
Talking of our appreciation,
Thank you so much.
choosing us. I'm for always saying yes anytime that we.
When everybody else says no.
Yeah, exactly. When everybody else says no, because the Jira Life, you don't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chooses you.
Yeah.
And you always say yes to anything. Collaborations and stuff, and I really appreciate it. And you're a big part of the Atlassian Creators Program, and we want to show our appreciation. And wait a second, we don't only have one.
Oh, no.
That's one for you.
Thank you. Oh, they have me.
Thank you. Oh, these are a little heftier.
You can
Thank
bring
you so much.
from around
I mean, I've been lifting. I haven't had a chance to go to the gym this week.
So if you're at home, folks, definitely check out these apps. There's Budgetly, there's Project Track, there's GoMood. They have so much going on. Definitely give them a
Q-Spot too. That's a free one, for ITSM.
What's the new one that you guys launched? You had a new one, right?
GoMood and Budgety.
Okay.
Those are the two new ones.
Yeah.
The budget tracking, cost tracking, Budgety, and GoMood. Discover the customer sphere. Customer experience, focusing on ITSM too. So go ahead, check them out. They're in the Atlassian Marketplace, 30-day free trial, and so on. So we'll be right here if you need more information, and you are also welcome to ask us, through our support channels and so on. Thank you very much.
Bonus points if you speak Spanish.
Yeah, also
Bonus
bonus points if you speak Spanish, but we speak any language. At least we try to.
Exactly. And then booth 127.
That's it.
Yep.
You can't miss them. They're right at the entrance. So as you're coming into the expo, hook a right there, and they're right there, so you can't miss them.
Exactly. Thank you very much for being here, guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the gifts. We'll give you a hug a little later.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna put this shirt on here. Stand right here.
What's up? You like my shirt?
Hello, Mark Brickley from Clear Path.
A couple words. Oh, yes. So Alex and I are big fans of each other, and we have an ongoing debate about whether a taco is a sandwich. Here is which team I'm on. A taco is a sandwich. You have your shirt, Alex? We actually made one for Alex as well. He's on team taco is not a sandwich. And it actually comes from a discussion we had on the Jira Life before.
Of course.
So it's just a little bit of fun here having that team. This has been a great experience so far.
I'm going to start a new team.
Oh, are you? What is the team?
Taco is a Stromboli.
Come on, you're pushing the
Taco
boundaries.
is a strong
Well, that's what we do on the Jira Life.
every
We
day.
push boundaries.
Nice.
FYI.
Sajid, we've been on each other for a couple of years now. When I can get away with it, I am a chaos bringer.
Oh yeah, and I love you for
that.
Let's preface this by saying that Alex has had his license to complain about not being a community leader. That has been officially revoked.
Permanently.
Yes, permanently.
You will no longer hear complaints about me not being a community leader.
Yes.
So, Alex, why won't they be hearing you complain about community leader?
Well, because they have merged the community leaders and the content creators, and we're now just champions.
Is that the only reason?
That's the official reason on paper.
But that didn't happen at the community leader dinner last night.
No,
there was something else.
There was a little something.
Yeah,
that happened there last night.
You only get this one time to brag before we tear you down.
So I'm sitting with Sean Doyle here the whole night. We're just enjoying our time, and when they say it's time to move to the dinner section, I quickly get up and I go over there. And so I'm like the first one into the area where we're gonna eat dinner. And Lauren sees me, she's like, "You sit at this table." So, but as she tells me this, they are frantically kicking everybody out of the table.
Lauren Siegel, who is the head of the. She's one of the people in the creator program.
Yeah.
She, along with Andrew DeBell. So she was at the community leader last night, representing the creators. Oh, we have another witness.
We have my partner in crime, my other partner in crime, Dita. I can't say it as nice as you though.
Testing.
It's good. You gotta just say your name.
You just got to kind of eat it.
Oh, gotta just pretend to eat it. Yes, I'm Dita.
Dita.
But still,
That's not like a
So
Pokemon.
you're trying to sit next to me, and what happened?
Oh yeah, they kicked me off. They're like, hey, you need to go, and I was like, I don't want to go, and they're like, you gotta go. So Sajid and I were like, well, fine then. We didn't want to sit with Alex anyway.
I was trying to. I was number 3 on that list. I was like, Alex, why are you sitting here all by yourself? And Alex says, I don't know. Can you ask Lauren? I go to Lauren, and it's like, Lauren, can I sit next to Alex? And she's like, no. Okay.
And then Don Price, who is a big Atlassian, yells out, is anyone going to sit next to me? I'm like, I volunteer as tribute.
Yes.
And then I get kicked out of there, so I move over next to Alex, and I get kicked out of there.
2 strikeouts. The other thing that happened, though, is as I'm sitting there and as everybody's being kicked out, I go back to Lauren. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yes. And I'm like, are you sure? Sure. And she's like, yes, sit down.
Meanwhile, I find a spot at the table. I'm sitting there thinking about this, and I send a text message to the Jira Life crew saying, I think Alex won an award.
And I didn't see that message until very much later.
The discussion was flying between me and Rodney. It's like, yeah, I totally buy that because.
And we were talking about it as well on the table.
Yeah.
Sajid, we're like, oh, he's totally going to win an award. Absolutely. We're like.
Wait, I didn't tell you guys that I was nominated?
No.
So Lauren, that was my bad. You knew.
Actually, yes,
you
right,
knew because you had known like an hour before.
That's right, because we were crashing a different
party. Like a month and a half ago, Lauren reached out to me. She said, hey, Alex, you're nominated for an award. But I mean, everybody gets an Oscar nominee. Nobody actually wins those, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. But then she's like, we're going to all expenses paid. But at that point, I had already been sponsored. Shout out to Resolution for this amazing week.
That's right.
Also,
you had a free room.
I already had. And so I turned that down, although now had I known. But yeah, so anyways, so I knew I was nominated, but I didn't know I won.
So me and Bob are sitting there, as well, me and Dita at the table, sitting there like, Alex totally won.
Yeah, we're like, Alex totally won. And usually at those reserved tables, when you're basically going to be getting the award, usually you have the meal with Mike or with Anu or with Scott. Right? It's they're there.
They never showed up.
They didn't show up until the awards portion. So
that's unusual.
So Mike was supposed to sit next to me. They did move me over. But before we get to Mike, though, as people are still sitting down, Sharif comes up to me and he's like, can I sit here? And I'm like, you should ask somebody because everybody I was saying the same thing, right?
Right.
So I kind of feel like he thought I didn't want him to sit next to me. But then he asked and he comes like, turns out I can sit here. I have no idea who the guy is.
I mean, he was just on the what was he on? He was on the keynote Monday night.
You guys don't give me the information. The same thing happened with Stephanie. You're introducing me to Stephanie. I'm like, hi, Stephanie. No idea who you are. Monday night at the welcome reception, you're like, Alex, this is Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. Hi, Stephanie. I didn't find out until Tuesday morning. Stephanie's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was playing darts with a lot of big name folks that I didn't even realize were
big
but that was also probably nice because then I didn't feel any pressure to be anyone who I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm always the Jared guy, so you know.
Well, yes, you are famous.
Yeah.
He comes with certain swagger.
I'm a lonely PR.
I'm just the producer.
So anyway, so they make me move over because apparently Mike needs easy access in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but then he never showed up. But then they brought him a plate of food because then they sat right next to me. And they brought him a plate, but then they took it away like within a minute. So
okay.
I think something happened with scheduling.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I got my selfie though. That's all that matters. I got my selfie with Mike.
Yes.
I got one with Anu from last year, and I got one with Scott.
So why did you get a selfie with all these people though? You're beating around the bush here.
Yes. Get to the point of the story. Man.
Okay. Well, apparently I won an award for.
You did win an award.
I did win an award. I won an award for a content creator, I guess, of the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the best one. You are the victor.
By the numbers. How do we clap?
By the way, Alex is the first awardee
The
of
inductee.
the Creator Award. So
This was not
the
an award
inaugural.
last year.
Yeah. We have questions in the chat.
Welcome to the Jira Life, Nikki.
Welcome again to the
Oh, we
Jira
are
Life,
live?
Nikki.
We are live. We are
hi.
right now.
you. I hope that everyone is enjoying Teams. So what was the discussion?
We were talking about Alex from last night.
Oh, what
sounds so
happened?
wrong.
I thought that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we can
No,
talk
that
about
was
it.
2003. It's
What happens in
2024
Vegas-
now.
It's the age of the internet and YouTube. Nothing.
What happens in
stays.
Vegas gets
And
immediately put on LinkedIn
That's
for people to
exactly what it
judge.
was. What happens in Vegas goes on LinkedIn. Favorite session, favorite moment. What are you feeling here?
Okay, my favorite announcement. Can I do this one?
Yes.
Okay, my favorite announcement was I was a QA in the past, so I was super excited about the ability to record quick bug report Loom video and then click on a button to raise a ticket, and it would automatically pre-fill the bug report for you. I mean, it would save me so much time. Like you wouldn't believe how much
So
time I spend
much
on
time.
a bug report.
So much time. That was my favorite Loom feature right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that got added to Loom, and they're really making it more seamless to connect Loom to the other products like Jira and Confluence. So it's really, really interesting what they're developing and what they showed this year. Conversion to AI. I think that
Andy.
Andy, you gotta come say a word.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Word.
Mic drop.
no, don't.
Producer's like, please don't.
I gotta buy new
What are we
equipment.
talking
So,
about?
you gotta
My
come say a word.
version's
Get
what?
over here.
We are on
We
the
got
Jira
two
Life Live
guests. Look at
now.
this.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Spirit Brothers Unite.
Yes. And I need to call out the gentleman who won the Creators Award.
Whoa.
Does have all our blessings, but did not come to the dance floor last night. So if he does not come to the dance floor today, we're going to sign a petition asking Lauren to take it back.
Oh.
The Jira Nightlife.
Yes. The Jira Nightlife.
When are you going
has
to
to have.
do the Jira Euro trip? The Jira what? Euro trip.
When are you going to get a passport?
Then you're gonna pass.
I'm applying
That's
on Monday.
It's a Jira ticket, right?
It is a Jira ticket.
We actually have it as a Jira ticket.
Passport
It's
is
a
Jira
Trello
ticket.
card.
It's a Trello.
Oh, it's a Trello card. Trello is the best app in the world by miles. Uninstall Jira today.
Don't uninstall Jira, but Trello is the best app.
Get rid of
for
Jira. Trash platform.
That wasn't
Instead-
mine.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I'm joking. I'm being facetious. What did you actually want me to ask before the Spirit Brothers took over? This week?
Yeah.
This week.
Massive shout out to Revise. Very, very awesome tool for all of your backups, optimization stuff. They took a load of us out to the Sphere. That was worth it. That was very, very cool.
No, definitely worth it. It was
In
nice.
terms of the Team 24 event itself, though, it's got to be the keynote this morning with the Lasso boys, right?
Can you
That
believe
was
half the
next level.
people here didn't even go to that? Nikki didn't even go to it.
What? Do you know what? I saw a lot of tired, like hardworking faces, not drinkers or heavy drinkers, but just people who I know are constantly hustling throughout the entire event, just walking past or exiting the keynote laughing and happy, and they're all, what's going on here? Why are people happy? So,
I stitched up my feet from all the blisters I have.
oh yeah.
I'm
you
just
wore
like
pants.
wrapped.
And you wore pants today.
No, I knew I wasn't gonna walk as much today. I wore shorts yesterday. I'm so mad at Dita, yo. I had 13 minutes to go change into proper dress attire. She's like, "You're not gonna make it."
That's
So I
the
bought your
one
peer
day
pressure.
you win
Mr. Door, get over here. Get over here, right here in the middle.
This is
just getting
So
bigger.
I'm gonna bounce, but just
All right,
to say
thank you.
one last thing. I like how Atlassian covered up all end of data center topics with AI this year. And that's my final mic.
Nobody even talked about it.
Oh yeah.
AI.
I want to say data
What was
center
your
all the
favorite
way.
on the
I'm
Jira Life?
manifesting-
Most memorable moment
I'm
of the week.
manifesting that it's gonna
Of
stay
course. Of course.
Okay, I've got to be careful what I say, haven't I? You never know who's listening. And I'm wearing my Adaptivist gear, so I'm obviously on brand.
You're on the clock.
My absolute favorite moment of this week was, well, it did warm my little heart the first time that Mike Cannon-Brookes name-checked me on the community dinner.
Yeah.
And then the second time he name-checked me, I'm like, yeah, that's funny once. And then the fourth and fifth time, I'm like, okay, mate, you can stop now. That's fine. I'm
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you like have his home address or something? Like, how tight are you guys?
Matt Doris knew Jimmy.
Oh yeah. No, so that was funny. No, you know what? The best part of this week, always, as ever, is the people that I reconnect with, and just seeing the same faces, and the company names change, and we're all still around here. And I expect it'll happen again next year in Anaheim. So yeah, it's cool.
I'm hosting.
The whole of Anaheim?
It's my city. I live there.
Oh, that's right, you do.
I do. So I'm hosting. I'm setting it
we're
all up.
expecting good food.
What about the Jira Life? What was your highlight?
Yeah.
Apart from winning the Creator Award.
Apart from running around everywhere with
And
gear.
the Creator Award.
Oh, squeeze in.
Stop.
Oh.
Where's our producer? I feel like this is the
tired.
producer's job. Andy, guys, come on over. We'd say hi.
Mic for you.
Come on, come on. Come on.
We're
Yeah.
Wait.
Someone take that.
Keep them.
Andy, come on. We got extra mics. Bye, Matt.
We still need to shift over a little bit.
All right.
Oh, you know
Hold
what?
on.
You know what? I got it. No, you. No,
Okay,
here,
but-
come. You got this.
So what are we supposed to be doing here?
So,
moment of the week.
Andy, what is your favorite moment of the week?
You're giving me no time to answer. This is live.
This
is
is
live,
live.
yes.
Welcome to the Jira Life.
So I have two favorite moments because one is just the experience of being able to get together with all the community leaders and creators, and this like 48 hours of kinship and brotherhood and sisterhood that everybody that exceeds itself every year. So that's just the general vibe. My favorite moment, I mean, it has nothing to do with Atlassian, but Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt this morning were absolutely on fire. They started my day off with the biggest smile ever, and it just never left my face. So that was an amazing thing. Atlassian has to find more speakers like that for keynotes.
Well said. Well said.
So I think we've been challenged now. As one of the co-hosts of the Jira Life, I have to answer my favorite moment of this week. And God, where do I begin? I think it probably has to actually be before it started, the partner info session and that panel. I did a panel with Bill Wood, Kit Friend, Brittany Joyner, and I was the moderator.
All-star team.
Absolute all-star team, all of them absolute professionals, and it was an amazing time where we all talked about how we messed up.
Lots of good lessons from that one.
Yeah, the topic was mistakes we made and how we dealt with them, and it was an absolute great time.
We have a term for that in our company called failing up.
Ooh, I love that.
Yep.
You can borrow it.
Okay, thank you. Scrum Mama says, fail
So
up.
the producers coming in here for a quick moment. We have a change in personnel. Those people that have just appeared on camera, please make some introductions.
So hi, I am Laura Campbell. I do product marketing at Cyber Media for Cloud Apps, and I've been a community leader for 2 years, mostly online, but I do attend some of the events in Toulouse, France.
All right. And online Andy?
Andy Gladstone, nicknamed Online Andy by the Jira Life, actually. I have been a community leader for 2.5 years in the Atlassian community. I am maybe not the #1 fan, but top 3 of the Jira Life. You may know me from the comment section. I'm usually on the train. Here, I get to be in person.
Yep. But yeah, it's just it's been a crazy week. I've been running around, so many talks, obviously so many live streams this week, and I still managed to get my keynote recap out this week.
Bravo.
Good job.
Bravo.
Oh no, we got another one. Hello, introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, I'm Fede Baronti. I'm the host of the Desert Connection. I'm Desert Partner Manager, and this is my 5th Atlassian team, so I'm really happy to be here.
So Fede, what is your favorite moment from the week?
My favorite moment was when nobody said anything about Scott doing his last keynote, probably, right?
Yeah.
Nobody said anything, not even an ovation. I was like really pissed off that nobody stood up or clapped or said something, But yeah, nobody said anything, But later in the community dinner, the community leaders dinner, we did some kind of special thing for him, which was really cool. It was really cool. But then, the the presentations, you know, the new stuff that is gonna come up. So it's really nice. It's really nice. It's really cool.
Yep, I think we're trading out people as fast as we could get them in.
Yes.
And I just want to interrupt you. I want to say a special thank you to. Well, I'll wait.
Okay.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I mean, while you're doing that, go ahead.
Yeah. No. And that was pretty much it. I'm really glad. You know, my favorite moment, of course, and this is for sure and for real, is when I met everyone in the creators program, you know, finally in person. You know, I'm really happy to be a part of this creator program, and it's really nice. And hope to be able to meet you guys. Oh, that's hello.
So this is not beer. You need to
exactly. I want some beer right now.
Beer soon.
Yes, soon, really soon.
And I just want to say a special thank you for sponsoring me.
Thanks a lot.
And letting me be out here, bringing the family. We had a great time.
Cool.
Resolution. Check out all their apps.
Check out the NASA app. Thanks a lot for doing all the stuff. Thanks.
For the kids?
Yes. How many kids do you have?
Right
Two for you, for the kids. Perfect. And yeah, enjoy. Hey, Laura, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Bjorn, introduce yourself real quick.
I'm co-CEO at Resolution. Here, team totally exhausted. We had an amazing lot of demos on the NASA. Over 100. Okay. No, it was an amazing event. I mean, we saw a lot of new stuff from Atlassian side. They cleaned up. They showed new stuff, AI stuff, and so on. Now we need to wait the next months if they deliver, like always. Exactly. And how we integrate this in our products and our solutions and so on. But it was amazing and exciting.
Yep. So, thank you.
See you later, guys.
See you later.
So we have our marks.
Oh, sorry.
Can I talk about my favorite moments?
Absolutely. Sorry. It's just so much is happening all at the same time.
We are not.
You haven't been on the Jira Life, have you?
These marks are literally
This
done
is
halfway
normal,
through the
but
show.
actually, the interruptions are just no joke. Go ahead.
So I would say two of my favorite moments during this week were when I got to talk with John Funk, talking about how work that he's done with some of his customers using one of the apps that I do marketing for, and Esther Strom talking about an app that she uses. It was so great to hear people talking about how they've solved problems and the way that Jira and Confluence are helping them do more, whether it's with their customers or with their colleagues. And people get excited about what their companies are able to do with Jira and Confluence, and be able to see them again because I got to meet them last year. So that human connection, and then talking about what the tools help them to do. That was my highlights of the week.
Super awesome. Are you going to the batch party?
I am.
We got enough to sub in.
I made a dress. I made my own costume. So I'm gonna have a normally.
You looked really nice last night. You had a great
Oh,
dress.
thanks. Yeah. The community leader dinner was really great, and the after party was really great. Did a lot of dancing. That was
King Bob, I didn't know he can get down like that.
looking forward to some more dancing.
He's over there.
Yep.
Now the Jira Life has done a lot of interesting things in the first half of 2024, but perhaps the most memorable and probably the craziest thing that we've done was celebrate the server end of life 24-hour live stream that for some reason we thought at the time was a really, really good idea. So this next segment is highlighting the first 10 hours because that's all we had. We didn't get to record the entire 24 hours, but from the first 10 hours, we are going to be extracting and showing you some of the most memorable moments of that crazy 24-hour live stream. Let's go take a look. Welcome everyone to the 24-hour live stream Server Apocalypse. Special thanks to everybody that agreed to come put us out of our misery, so that otherwise we were just going to be here talking by ourselves.
I wanted to start by saying, going a little nostalgic, and I think all of you probably have interesting, fond memories of the first time you interacted with Jira. And I bet that was server, right? Back in the day. And that was my case. It wasn't that long ago. It was 2017. But still I remember I started using, and this was for a very specific project. I was working at a startup, not even in the Atlassian world, obviously. And my boss at that time, it was a very, very small shop. He had to communicate with developers were all outsourced in India, and he had to basically send all the requirements to these guys, and he wanted to be super detailed. And one day he said, "We're going to start doing this. I found the perfect thing for this job." And we opened the laptop, I went into Jira, and started creating issues in there. And I was used to project management tools, right? And this felt like a completely different language. It was like somehow starting talking alien, because it wasn't visual exactly. It was like just a number of you could just add requirements and requirements and requirements, and it was very, very nice how you could capture things and record them and then find them again. But it was all kind of lists of issues, which was very, very unique for me at the time. What's your first memory of using Jira Server or Confluence?
I hated it. I hated it. I came from TFS. I came from the world where everything was integrated into the developer tool. And so from within Visual Studio, which is the developer tool, you could access your board and you can create the stories and you can do everything from within that thing. And it was all unified and all your testing was unified and everything was just self-contained. And I remember when I first came to Jira, I'm like, here's the URL for Jira. Then you got to go to Confluence, and then Bitbucket's over here, and then Crucible's over there, and then Fisheye is over here. I was like, why in the world am I going to 5 different places to do the thing I used to be able to do in one?
I will speak from the alternate place. That alternate place being IBM Rational, and
anything's better than Rational.
at that point, IBM Rational had Rational Team Concert, which was a kind of that single tool amalgamation. It did source control. It did issue tracking. It could loop in with Doors Next Generation for requirements management, tie in also with Quality Manager to do this thing, and it worked kind of. And its popularity was kind of waning because it was expensive. It was really, really expensive. And so Atlassian is starting to come upon the scene. This was roughly about 2013 or so that I saw. And what I could see was, okay, let's give this Jira a shot. They had the $10 server licenses, 10 users.
That's what I was going to say. That's my second favorite memory. Is that
and that's what kind of lured me in, is I could see about running this, and from my background in IBM Rational, it was like it was familiar to me, and I could set this up and for $10 just play around with it, see how it really, really worked.
So my first experience, I was looking for a new job inside my company. The one they had available was a Linux administrator to manage development systems. A was very, very all in on Scrum. Even the CEO team was doing Scrum Agile, all in. But B, they were also very much a Microsoft camp. All our products run on Microsoft. All our teams run Microsoft. I run Windows Server. We don't like Linux. So I was the one guy in this company who said, hey, I do know Linux too, by the way. So probably not my best move, but it worked out for me. I get to the new job. They're giving me the grand tour. And this is Jira. Figure it out because you're getting the tickets tomorrow. And by the way, we want our test system upgraded within a week.
Wow, we got a party here. Hello.
As I said, Reno is bringing the party today.
Only in this ecosystem you can have such a nice bunch of people getting together to celebrate.
Nowhere else.
I was saying that nowhere else would there be like the equivalent of an Irish funeral or an Irish wake when one of the when one of their main platforms is discontinued or has reached the end of its life.
I wanted to tell you that I actually lied. I did use Jira Server in my first job. So
really?
Mhm.
Oh.
The truth starts coming out, Nikki.
Yes, it does, right? It was so funny
No.
because it was running under one of the developers' computer, so it was kind of like under the desk. That was the beauty of Jira initially, where when someone picked it up, it was usually from the development department because they just like the system and project managers are not going to like just give you tickets on the wall. You actually have some proper system and workflow and stuff like that. But slowly everyone started liking it, and then the whole organization is running on it, which is not small. And it goes from this secret computer almost like in a basement. So yeah, that was quite funny.
This has been a long time coming. I can't believe it's here. It's crazy. I mean, we've been, this date has been looming on the horizon for years, right? And it's here. So how are you guys feeling about it? I mean,
apprehensive, worried. I still feel that there are people out there that this change is going to leave behind. And I hate to see that. I really do.
And I think that, so like a lot of changes, it's not 100% joy and it's not 100% sorrow. There's just kind of a melding. And I kind of looked at it in terms of there's a gradient, right, of grief and relief. Oh, this is a trip down memory lane.
Right?
Oh.
I started using Jira as a user in 2010. So that would be when Jira was 8 years old. But this is 1.0. Kind of crazy, huh?
That first iteration of Charlie or Atlas or whatever he wants to be called today.
Yeah. Look at that. The filter, the search on the left. I mean,
ow. That is so
archaic, isn't it? So back in 2010, it must have been version 4.1, and this should be a picture of it. Look, now the Atlas dude is on the left and got the 3 dots there. It's kind of the same, the menu, the top.
Yeah, it's very, very similar.
Yeah. Look at this. The dashboards with the tabs on the side. Pretty archaic, huh? GG being demonstrated. Look how quick it was. Got to my projects right away. Yeah, look at the left. So this is the project administration.
Yeah, this is project settings.
Yeah, and it has kind of tab looking thing on the left there. So 2011, that's a year after I started using Jira.
All right. So in honor of the delicate departure of Jira Server, I've created a quiz that tells you which of the surviving Atlassian products you are based on a quiz. So there's 5 different options that you can have. But yeah, Rodney, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? There you go.
Jira Service Management. I mean, not wrong. To be fair, if I got anything but Jira, I'd be disappointed in myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you what would have happened if you got Trello? That would be quite the scandal.
I would never hear the end of it from Brittany.
I am Bitbucket.
Hey.
I know how to do things. I am technical. I know how I want things done and just how to do them. I'm a problem solver, critical thinker, and a connector. I come with a lot of rules, but I am worth the extra effort.
Hey.
So accurate.
In the name.
You're the main character. When people think popular, they think of Dr. Jira. People either love you or hate you, but either way, they know who you are. Growing up, you might have been called bossy, but you can't help it that you're a natural leader and your hair is full of secrets. You're a person with a plan, and you use your charm and charisma to make it happen.
I don't know about charm,
adapt to any situation. Life just wouldn't be the same without you.
So what's your earliest memory of Server?
I worked at this place called Planet Group Inc., and they were a financial credit card payment processing company. I was hired to be a batch operator. So my first month in, we didn't have our customers ready yet. They were still building the code. A month in, they said, hey, we have this software system, this bug tracking system. Do you want to try to add some new people in there? And I said, sure, I will, add some new users in there. So they showed me Jira and said, this is how we track our bugs. This is how we have our developers say that we have bugs. I said, okay. And like I said, it was Jira 3.8, I believe.
Okay.
It was a Jira 3. It was still had Charlie there, the whole thing. So I started off just adding users. And then my boss came to me and said, hey, with us getting these new clients, we need to create new projects and we probably need to have workflows. Mind you, this is my first job in any type of computer. I was still going to school at the time for that part. I didn't know what a workflow was. Can you tell me how to do that? I said, no, I actually don't know how. We just use the ones that are in just the ones that come with it. I was like, okay, so I just add one. So I just basically spent a week creating 3 projects and fumbling through getting the workflows and understanding what that was and the screens. And after that week, they said to me, you know what, you're now the Jira admin. You take this over. This is all you. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I can figure this out. I could do this. Oh, there's this event coming up called Summit in San Francisco. Can I go to that to learn this? Sure, we'll send you to that. Perfect. But one thing they didn't tell me was that I would be in charge of doing the upgrades for Jira and Confluence. And the other thing they didn't tell me, they said, all right, you're going to be in charge of upgrading Jira and Confluence. And it's on a Windows server, and they're on the same server.
Ooh.
So both applications were on the exact same server, and it was a Windows server. And back then, upgrading Jira on a Windows server, they didn't play very nice. So
yeah, I would rather have a root canal without aesthetic than upgrade Jira server on Windows Server.
Yeah,
so.
With it having Confluence on the exact same server, which, believe it or not, is a big no-no. But so my first summit, when I went there, I had my laptop, and they asked my boss asked me, "What's my goal?" I said, to understand this software that you guys gave me, to admin, and also to figure out how to do an upgrade. So I did my first upgrade with someone. It wasn't called the support bar then, but it was just basically someone from support. We sat there side by side and just did the upgrade at Summit. About an hour and a half. I cannot remember the name, but they just sat there with me and we did the upgrade. It worked. Now that was the best upgrade I ever did, because after that they were all pretty much, it was I know you guys were talking about it earlier. After something changes, you walk in the next morning and you got those line of people at your desk waiting to talk to you. Yeah, that was after every upgrade. That was my first foray. So I was hired to do this batch operating thing, and I ended up just being the company Jira admin.
I worked on Jira before there was JQL. That is always my claim to fame. At Jira 4 is when JQL was introduced to Jira. And so those were the hard days when we didn't have it.
That's when the struggle was real.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I've loved Server. I loved our application because, first of all, the place where I came from is PeopleSoft, then bought by Oracle, and we had a homegrown bug tracking system that was like the whole stack and the whole release system, the whole waterfall. It was a big production to get changes in, right? And then all of a sudden, I changed jobs, and they're like, "Hey, I got this Jira thing on my desktop under my desk. Could you upgrade it?" And that was like in my first day at the job, and I was like, "Oh my God, this thing is amazing!" Right? So since then, I think that was like 2006. I've really I huge kudos to Mike and Scott, like personally, because like they've just made an amazing decisions.
Do you have any sort of early memories of Server? Or
the funny thing about Server is that UIs haven't changed quite a lot as the cloud did. So for me, once you see the Server, it's like very nostalgic. And it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the best UI. It's still pretty old school. So sometimes it's great to see some old school UI, and you're like, when the server's configured right, which most of the time doesn't happen, but when it does, then you're like, okay, there's not really a big difference. It's pretty good. So for a regular user, you're like, nice. But then the errors start to come up, and you're like, okay, something is happening. Now I need to like reindex stuff, or I need to do a bunch of things. You install some add-ons that breaks other things. You're like, okay, I see. So I'm happy that everything is moving to the cloud to some degree. That I think companies, I would prefer them to focus on the process, how to use Jira to make them more efficient, and let the Atlassian take care of everything else, instead of everybody being like, oh, now I need to have a department who who is managing my Jira. So for me, I think the general move to the cloud is a good idea.
But I just wanted to sort of finish off our session, well, my session today, with a little reminder of what we're talking about, which is kind of the celebration of life, like the moment of like the end of life and kind of moving forward of our fabulous Jira server. So I've prepped something. I've just got a little memento for us to remember Jira server by.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm hoping you can see the little memento there. We've got Jira's name in there and a beautiful hibiscus flower, which is part of the area that we live in is called the Hibiscus Coast.
Now, one of my favorite things about being on the Jira Life and hosting this amazing podcast is the community. But even more important than the community is the Atlassian folk themselves. Now, this year, on this season, Atlassian started really starting to take notice of the show. And we were fortunate to have a few Atlassian members join us on the Jira Life. So in this next segment, we're going to be taking a look at those key memorable moments where fellow Atlassian members joined us on the Jira Life to talk about the things that they love almost as much as we do. So let's go take a look. Who helps you establish that baseline, right? How do you know that you know the product?
Well, you take an exam.
I was going to say you take a certification.
I know you take certification, right? But like, where do you then get your inspiration that says that this question is hard enough to say that you know the exam?
Oh.
Or you know the product, but easy enough that you're like not PhD level on the product.
We have a process that we go through because we're just, a certification organization. So we have a process that we go through where we write questions, and Joanna is the queen of writing questions. And so we'll go back and forth and we'll do some edits, and then we do peer reviews. And that's just to make sure that everything's technically correct, that it flows.
Here internally, or do you get like a beta?
That's all
test?
internal. Yep.
Okay.
And then we start bringing in SMEs, and we're trying to build this out actually to get more SMEs involved, because we want to build, obviously more of these. And then we go through what's called standard setting, where we have SMEs come in and evaluate how difficult they think this would be for what we call the minimally qualified candidate. So that's the person that we think would barely pass the exam, that they would have all this knowledge, and we've documented all that. And then we also have a psychometrician who goes and balances to say, this is, to get forms. And anybody who's taken a test more than once might have noticed that you didn't get the same questions. And the idea there is that you get that experience of well-vetted questions for a well-constructed exam. Yeah. It's a good question.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I have a little more to add to that. So that's a phenomenal. Look, Sean's already signing up for SMEs, to be SMEs. That's great.
Yes, Sean. Thank you.
So what worries me is he used the pronoun us. Which means that I think Rodney and I might have just
Your
been
names have been mentioned. I just want you to know.
Yeah. And we have it on record now. So yes. Welcome to the SME program, Rodney, Alex, and Bob.
We do try to create content that can be brought out for like these kind of road shows. So we'll go out there, and if you like last year, when I actually joined the team, when I joined the evangelism group, one of the big things that I wanted to bring about was more connection into the community. Because again, this was This is 2022. We were doing some stuff with community, but honestly, I felt there was such an opportunity for honestly more Atlassians
to be at community events, and there's still a huge opportunity there. And so I was like, all right, how do we go out there to our biggast advocates and spend some time with them? And so I built this initial State of Teams roadshow. We have a big report, State of Teams. We had it go out in that version went out in like November of that year. And so we did this roadshow around about 30 different community events, and it was great. Went over really well. A lot of good feedback. And so we did another one again around team shaping, which is still kind of in its cycles right now. We did that middle of last year, and it's still kind of running its course. But what we try to do is we build a lot of these kind of roadshows around current events we have. So it's the whole while in surgery analogy, so while we're already there, let's hit up a couple things. So for me, I was already traveling out to Oakland for a keynoted Product World, biggest product management conference we've got out there in the world. So I was keynoting that on Friday. I was also presenting in LA at the PMI Professional Development Day for Orange County. And we're like, all right, I'm already going to be in the area. And that's why when you reached out, I'm like, maybe we can make it work this week because I'm already on the West Coast. So that's what we try to do, is we try to find something we're already being gravitated towards and saying, there's a community out here somewhere, there's somebody. And so we try to make sure we always couple that together. And so that's where when we do road shows, we'll typically do a larger, we've got a larger set of events. Like for this time, I did 4 events with community, 2 external events. And so that kind of gave us the ability to say, yeah, let's couple this all together. But every now and then I'll go to a local one or something like that, something close by, but we do try to couple them together.
Philip, why don't you give us a second to talk about what actually Atlassian Ventures is, why Atlassian would need a capital venture fund, and how does it help the ecosystem?
Absolutely. I really appreciate the opportunity to explain it. So Atlassian Ventures, as I mentioned a moment ago, and as Rodney just said, is Atlassian's corporate venture capital fund. And what that really means in more practical or layman's terms is we exist to quite literally invest in companies who are growing the Atlassian ecosystem and providing even more value to the mutual end customer. And typically speaking, the way that manifests itself in our investment portfolio is we typically invest in 2 types of companies. The first type of company are companies who are launching apps directly in the Atlassian marketplace. That part of our investment thesis is rooted in a very public-facing Atlassian statistic, which is that customers who download at least one marketplace app are 50% less likely to churn than customers who don't. So from our perspective as investors, we want to quite literally fund more development in the ecosystem so that more use cases are covered, so there's better breadth of extensibility. And I sort of on and on from there. So that's the first type of company. Generally, but not exclusively, those are pretty early stage businesses. In venture capital terms, those would be sort of pre-seed and seed stage businesses. And sometimes, in that sense, we've even invested in companies who haven't even launched their product yet, but the idea is really meaningful and we see differentiation and we can see that value to the customer. So we go ahead and make an investment there. We also invest in companies who are integrating or will deepen their integrations with Atlassian products through APIs. And so sometimes those companies have marketplaces, sometimes they don't, but the thesis of those investments is rooted much more in extensibility through APIs. Typically, those are slightly more mature businesses, not necessarily because they have APIs, but just based on some of the pattern recognition we've seen. In venture capital terms, those are more sort of what you would call a growth stage business, sort of Series A and beyond. And the purpose of those investments is not necessarily, of course, Atlassian marketplace in the micro, quote unquote, but it's much more about the much broader ecosystem and enabling the mutual end customer to kind of meet them wherever they are in their workflows. And in certain cases, Atlassian will establish proper partnerships with some of those more mature companies. And otherwise, we are here to be investors and sort of help them really sort of navigate Atlassian. And that's really where my job comes in.
We've been talking about Rovo for a bit now, about 15 minutes. And let's assume that someone somehow has missed the keynote and all of our other podcasts and all the other coverage. Why don't you tell us in your own words what Rovo is so we kind of have a common basis here?
Yeah, so Rovo is essentially it's an additional product that we're selling at Atlassian, right? So it's going to sit on top of the platform. So you basically purchase Rovo or Atlassian Rovo, and it is something that encompasses quite a few different features. So it's a group of feature sets. It is something that sits at the site level on top of all of your products. So it's not something that only lives in Confluence or only lives in Jira. It lives across all of the products. It includes sort of three main pillars. So you have find. So it's the ability to search for content, to find documentation, to understand questions. So if you wanted to ask, how do I submit PTO? It can give you a response. Or how do I, or like, what is the Jira Life podcast? It could find relevant documentation and answer that for you. And it goes on your permissions, right? It's not searching anything you don't have access to. So it has that search capability. The second pillar is learn. So the ability to dive deeper on any content. So if you wanted to say like, okay, well, yeah, you told me with the Jira Life podcast, but like, I might want to ask more things like, okay, well, who are the hosts? What's their backgrounds? Like all these things. So as long as there's some page talking about you guys, like I can answer all of that stuff. It's not searching the internet. It's searching your documentation. And it's searching across everything. So if I'm in Confluence and I ask that question, it's searching Jira, it's searching JSM, it's searching your ticket history, like it's searching everything. And so it's this all-encompassing solution. And then the third thing is act. So the ability to take these steps on your behalf. So if you wanted to create a draft of a Confluence page or create a ticket or break down issues, the ability to do those actions. So if you think about it in terms of feature sets, you have enterprise search. So the ability to connect 3P sources and search across content. So if you wanted to connect Google Drive and SharePoint and Slack and all of your Jira and Confluence data and have that singular source where you could go and you can ask a question and get answers based on your entire company's knowledge, you have that. So the enterprise search with third-party connectors. Then you have AI chat, which is sort of my baby. And so that basically is, think like a co-pilot that sits on top of the platform and you can ask any question based on either the context of where you are. So I could say, hey, summarize this page if I'm on top of a page, or I could ask questions across different things. So there's that chat interface that basically is, think like ChatGPT, but instead of the internet, it's your Atlassian data. And then the third thing is AI agents or Rovo agents, which essentially allow you to both add like 3P capabilities. So if you wanted to, let's say, for example, install an app from the marketplace that has additional capabilities to do things outside of Atlassian, or you just want to adjust a prompt and have it act in certain ways. Maybe it's an expert in like the decision director is something that we showed at Team, which is like, hey, I'm an expert in helping you write decision documentation and I can critique it and give you feedback. You basically just do that with the prompt and it's like an out-of-the-box agent. So those are sort of the main 3 pillars and 3 features. There are more things that encompass it, but those are like the core functionalities of it.
Now, before we close out this episode, I want to remind you that next week we are back on our regularly scheduled content, and we're going to be interviewing Brittany Joyner and the rest of the Trello team. Very recently, Brittany, Mike Day, and Funman Andy came together to create a brand new community for Trello users. And so we're going to have a Trello takeover where we rebrand the Jira Life to the Trello Life. And these 3 amazing guests are going to come on to talk about the latest things that they're doing over in Trelloville. All right, well, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I personally want to thank you for being on this journey with us. The first half of season 2 was very, very exciting. We changed the whole thing up for season 2, and we still have a second half of the year to go. So season 2 is only at its halfway point. So make sure you come back every single Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, where we live stream. And then trust me when I tell you, we have some exciting things coming for you in the second half. So if you haven't subscribed, you haven't hit that bell notification, or you haven't dropped a like on this video, then right now is your chance to do that. Thank you so much for watching the Jira Life. And I'm all alone, so I'm going to have to do it myself. We didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other Jira amigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.